So let's talk about gate questions. Well, I did a setting where the comments will not be visible to me, but I don't know why the comments are visible. So maybe the settings have been changed. Well, no problem with this. I really wanted actually to focus on lecture only, because in questions, in comments, I start getting multiple, lines and which actually start diverting. So first of all, for the gate exam students, I would recommend that use pen and paper le lo, and good evening to everyone. So this is how I take the comments. So try not to type unnecessary things, just listen, okay, so that we can utilize the time. As you know, I'm already having issues, the third COVID. So yes, good evening to everyone once again. So focus on lit theory first. First of all, make sure that you have a chart of literary theory. Yes, in the chart of literary theory, you have new criticism, then there's formalism, then formalism's two branches, the Russian formalism, the French formalism, then the thinkers, their names, the terms, books, then structuralism, post-structuralism, deconstruction. Then simultaneously you also have to go for the theories which are text oriented, are context oriented. It's like Marxism, feminism. So make sure that approx every in every theory you have around 7 to 8 writers, and you know at least one book by that writer. They will simply ask you a question that famous book written by Louis Althusser. So if you have not even heard the name, you won't be able to answer. Most of the people who study literary theory, they simply know Roland Barthes, they simply focus on Jacques Derrida, but they don't go for some other writers who are equally very, very important. So I suggest to you that please remember Victor Slovatsky is very important from Russian formalism. So make a list of 7 to 8 writers from every theory and write down the names of the books so that at least you remember those points. Then, I also suggest to you to set the chronological order of lit theory. It is new criticism and practical criticism, which was almost contemporary. But then after this, structuralism comes, because formalism has two branches: Russian formalism, French formalism. We have studied this thing, we have talked about this, that the French formalists, they believe the words have different meanings. And here we get sign signifier theory. Russian formalists believed that the language is of two types: the primary order language, secondary order language. So these two theories merge together. They start primarily based on French formalism. We go for structuralism. And then structuralism, when they started finding the concept of binary opposition, the concept of semiotics, the concept of sign versus signals, and then sign versus symbols, we'll go for a meaning. When structuralism gets a meaning of the text, the same structuralist philosophers, they start questioning the value and authenticity of meaning. As the most important factor in finding anything, any truth, is time. The importance of anything is heavily dependent on time. The post structuralists believe that the time is not constant, time is not stable. So, if the time itself is not stable, how can you find a proper meaning? So, this is the reason the post structuralists come and they say that meaning is not possible. Meaning is unattainable, the meaning cannot be fixed. And then in the response of post-structuralism, deconstruction comes. The deconstruction comes and finds out a meaning. He says, like Derrida, especially the main person, the person behind this theory, he says everything is in the text. There is nothing out of the text. So we work and we use multiple ways, like eraser concept, the tracing concept, the metaphysics of presence, metaphysics of absence concept, and find out the meaning in the text only. So when you read lit theory, make sure you connect it as the last days are there. Many of you are writing this thing that whether the exam will be postponed or not. Frankly, exam should have been postponed. Exam postponed hona chahiye tha. But I don't know, like they conducted West Bengal set. Otherwise, West Bengal set was also supposed to be cancelled. But and as it was not postponed, so I believe they may conduct gate exam also. But if we compare the crowd of West Bengal set and crowd of gate exam, just like 1 to 100, the ratio would be 1 to 100, because it's not only gate English literature, it's gate in 100 plus subjects, all type of science subjects and everything. So millions of students will be appearing in across the nation, everywhere. So obviously it's going to bring the fourth wave. So government should take precautionary action if they have brain actually. If somebody is free from government and thinking about people, because 99% in the leaders who are 99% leaders from all the parties are actually thinking about elections. So elections ke chakkar mein nobody is going to care about students. Now, Saima, you are forcing me. Please answer. You know I'm not reading comments. I'm actually helping students. Okay, Saima, you have my number. WhatsApp me on 8810289637. I will help you. So now listen to this point. Apart from this, when you read feminism, most of the people think that reading feminism is reading the basic feminism. So they simply read this famous writer, the mother of feminism. We simply know her as Heine in Petticoat, Mary Wollstonecraft. Then some of them they go for Ellen Showalter, some of them go for Kate Millett, Toril Moy. But you must go for French feminism or radical feminism also. Focus on Helen Siku. She is more important than others now. Also go for the writer who has written Gender Trouble, 1970s famous book. So the one who has talked about, Judith Butler, the one who has talked about queer theory concept, that is also very very important. तो ये बहुत जरूरी है पढ़ना है आपको. फेमिनिज्म के अंदर एंटी फेमिनिस्ट थ्योरी, like imagine if I ask you a question, how many of you know about anti feminist theory? Think about it. The concept of backlash, the concept studied by Susan Faludi. Susan Faludi has studied this concept of backlash, anti-feminist theory. So the one who is studying for knowledge will read this also. ये पढ़ो आप मेरे लेक्चर में याद करो, फेमिनिज्म के लेक्चर में आपको एंटी जो फेमिनिस्ट थ्योरी है बैकलैश ये मिलेगा. Many of you remember the story, Noel Coward's story I have taught, a novel written in 1941, a novel written in 5 days with 2 wives and 2 souls, 2 ghosts. That is also anti-feminist novel. It makes fun of feminism. So ये पढ़ना है. When you read Marxism, Marxism is not always about poor and rich. It is actually the structure, the base, the structure, the superstructure is a theory that talks about the social structure. You know, Marxism says that there are no gender issues. It's not that women is abla. Like imagine, have you ever seen a woman who is weak, miserable, tortured by a male because she is a billionaire? You will say no. So it's money, it's the finance, and the money or the finance gives you power. So actually, it's the power concept. The power travels. So Marx studies this thing, that how the power structure, the knowledge structure has taken control of the world. This is kind of injustice. Imagine this, that somebody who is stronger than you is also the one who can have more knowledge than you. Why my knowledge is more in depth than other students? Because you are preparing for net. I have prepared, qualified, taught in University of Delhi, and with lot of salary, lot of money, I have my own library. I can afford any book I want. I have multiple laptops, multiple phones, everything, proper Wi-Fi. You have 2 GB data per day. So technically, my knowledge gave me power. And now I have my power, the financial power. It makes me go for more knowledge. So technically, I have become the part of that power structure. But a person who doesn't have money can't afford classes, can't afford costly mobile phones, laptops, can't afford a lot of internet data, will always have to struggle. So Marx and the other philosophers like Friedrich Engel, the one who wrote Communist Manifesto लिखा था, they study these things. तो आपको ये सब पढ़ना है. फिर इसके बाद जो आपको चीजें देखनी है वो ये है वर्ल्ड लिटरेचर. मोस्ट ऑफ द स्टूडेंट्स जो गेट के स्टूडेंट्स हैं, दे डू नॉट फोकस ऑन वर्ल्ड लिटरेचर. Ask yourself how many writers you know from Canadian literature. Like if you're not my online student, I'm sure आपको 5 राइटर याद नहीं होंगे. No offense, I'm not insulting anyone. Because my students, we have taught them Australians, Germans, French, Canadian, Australian, African. हमने पढ़ा दिया है. श्रीलंकन राइटर्स मेरे स्टूडेंट्स को पता है. But if you're not my student, just be honest. Take 5 seconds. 5 Canadian writers के नाम याद करो. And all those who have taken my classes, if you are not able to do so, if you also don't remember these 5 names, this is the time to think. So technically, the world literature writers, either it's 5 Australians, 5 Germans, 5 French, And all my online students, if it's taking time to remember 5 names, then imagine what about the books and characters. तो इस तरीके से मेरा सजेशन है कि वो करो. एंड दूसरी चीज़ आती है कि जब आप थ्योरीज वगैरह पढ़ रहे होते हो, लिटरेचर की चीज़ें पढ़ रहे होते हो, तो एक क्वेश्चन आता है बार बार कि डेट्स एंड क्रोनोलॉजी कैसे याद करें. सो प्लीज मार्क माई वर्ड्स, chronology is very important only for the exceptional famous or classic books. Mostly they ask questions from British history. Date oriented questions are asked from British history. The writers, the books, the publications are 99% asked from British history. So if you are mugging up the chronology of Australians, Germans, French, it's not important. But yes, if it is Samuel Beckett's Waiting for Godot, the world classic, then you must know it's 1956. If it's Salman Rushdie's Midnight Children, then you must know the timings. If it's Technique verse, आपको पता होना चाहिए कि कौन सा timing है. So if the works are really famous, then you must know. Okay. Now, apart from these things, also remember this, that no need to go for literary terms, literary devices. Literary terms, literary devices are hundreds, hundreds. When I prepared my first net, I tried to mug up around 1200 plus literary terms, 3 revision of my favorite book, Chris Balding's Literary Terms. 3 revision किए थे मैंने 1200 literary terms. I just read everything. I was like, सब पढ़ो. But it doesn't help. Now, it helps me to remember things, recall things, but they always bring something new. So, last 4 years paper I have checked, when they ask questions from literary terms, if it's not metonymy, if it's not synecdoche, then they ask anything, then they can say anything. So instead of mugging up all the literary terms, just focus on some basic thing. 90% chance they ask metonymy and synecdoche because they are almost similar. And along with these things, they also ask you the writers from Indian literature, because 90% people, when they prepare, they start ignoring Indian literature. And by the way, it's natural. Even I have ignored Indian literature, but not to a level where you are ignoring. I have read, I have prepared, I have taught in University of Delhi. Some of the chapters were from Indian literature. Naseem Ejkil became my favorite because of that. But then I somewhere don't like. I focus on the foreign writers only. So Indian literature ignore mat karna. And sorry यार, third time COVID है, third time. तीसरी बार कोरोना है, तीसरी बार it's irritating my throat. Anyway, so don't ignore Indian writers and primarily make a list of 5 female Indian writers. So go for Torudat, go for Sarojini Naidu, go for Kamla Das. Kamla Das is very very important. गौरव दुबे, आपका मैसेज मेरे पास पहुंच गया है. So Kamala Das is very very important. I sometimes call her Kamla Auntie. I don't know, because when I was preparing, I would read her. So I will talk to my friends like Kamala Auntie को पढ़ लिया, Kamala Auntie पढ़ना है. So Kamala Das is, it's very important. You know, home is the place where we gather grace, and I don't know faces. I just know names. These kind of things. So you have to read the stories. They are very very important. And Kamala Das ka jo writing style, it was really bold. So whenever we talk about the bold standard of English literature, Indian English literature, it's always Kamala Das. So all of you remember this. Please isko dhyan se suno. Please focus. If you are preparing Indian literature and you're zero in Naseem Ezekiel, Kamala Das, A.K. Ramanujan, Raja Rao, R.K. Narayan, Mulk Raj Anand, then it means you're not prepared at all. Inko tips pe karo. Then Amitav Ghosh, Arvind Adiga, Girish Karnad, Mahesh Dattani, then the ancient one Toru Dutt. ये जरूर पढ़ने हैं, मस्ट रीड है. चेतना कैसे हो, वन ऑफ माई ओल्ड स्टूडेंट. यस, कोरोना मेरे पीछे पड़ा है, पर क्या हुआ, कोई बात नहीं. इट्स एन एक्सपीरियंस. रिमेंबर, वाइफ ऑफ बात, 5 टाइम मैरिड. इट्स एन एक्सपीरियंस. सो चलने दो जो हो रहा है. कोरोना लव्स मी. आई ट्रीट कोरोना, आई रिस्पेक्ट कोरोना, दैट्स वाई कोरोना लव्स मी. सो ये सब कर लो. एक क्वेश्चन है, सलमान रश्दी पे PhD करें क्या? बहुत लोगों ने किया है, मत करो, कोई फ़ायदा नहीं है. विजय तेंदुलकर भी है, बहुत अच्छा है, विजय तेंदुलकर मस्ट रीड है, पढ़ो तो बहुत अच्छा है। सो नो बूस्टर शॉट रिक्वायर्ड। एनीवे, फोकस फोकस फोकस। पढ़ाई की बात करते हैं, बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स पेन पेपर लेके बैठे हैं, तो पढ़ाई की ही बात करते हैं। ओके, सो जो इंडियन राइटर्स आपको मैंने बताए हैं इनको कंप्लीटली याद कर लेना। देन कम्स ग्रीक लिटरेचर। सो मोस्ट ऑफ द पीपल हु आर प्रिपेयरिंग जस्ट लाइक फ्रॉम मार्केट गाइड बुक्स, आप ग्रीशियन लिटरेचर इग्नोर मार देते हो, तो ग्रीशियन लिटरेचर इग्नोर मत मारो। सो ग्रीशियन लिटरेचर में क्या करना है, आई टेल यू, नो नीड टू रीड एस्किलस और सम अदर राइटर्स, फोकस ऑन सोफोक्लीज। Sophocles is the father figure of Greek literature, the leading writer. So when you read Sophocles, obviously he has written 107 books. But luckily, you know, it's a fun fact. Luckily, most of the books are lost. Otherwise, there would have been 107 books in your syllabus. So luckily, only 7 to 8 books are available, like Antigone, Ajax, then Oedipus the Rex, then Oedipus at Colonus, Electra. तो 6-7 books available हैं. In this, just focus on Oedipus the Rex, Oedipus Rex. इसके अलावा कुछ भी नहीं पढ़ना है. Okay. Second thing, the another Greek writer after Sophocles is Euripides. Just one book by Euripides, Media. तो मीडिया जरूर पढ़ो, जैसन ग्लॉस, कौन कौन से कैरेक्टर्स हैं, स्टोरी ऑफ कोड जिसमें जहर लगा होता है, तो इट्स अ मस्ट रीड, ये पढ़ना ही पढ़ना है। फिर क्वेश्चन आता है कि और कौन इंपॉर्टेंट है ग्रीशियन लिटरेचर से। सो यस, ग्रीशियन लिटरेचर में सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट इसके बाद है एरिस्टोफेंस। Aristophanes is the only comedy writer, comic writer from Greek literature, and the person who actually goes away the Aristotelian concept. एक बड़ा प्यारा क्वेश्चन आया है, के सिंह का क्वेश्चन है। दैट्स द रीजन आई वाज नॉट टेकिंग कमेंट्स। कमेंट्स इग्नोर हो जाते तो ज़्यादा बेटर था, बट आई कैन रीड, आई कैन सी, तो आई एम रीडिंग। क्वेश्चन है कि क्या कोचिंग सेंटर चलाने के लिए बीएड जरूरी होता है? नहीं, बीएड जरूरी नहीं होता है, बट येस, कोचिंग सेंटर चलाने के लिए आपने जिस एग्ज़ाम के लिए आप चला रहे हैं उस एग्ज़ाम का आपको बहुत अच्छा नॉलेज होना चाहिए। आई हैव सीन, अभी आपने देखा होगा मेरे हमारे नंबरों पे एक किसी का मैसेज आ रहा है हमारे नंबर पे, इवन मेरे नंबर पे भी आ रहा है, और वो अपने आप को 2 बार नेट बता रहे हैं, पर वो एक बार भी नेट नहीं है, नॉट इवन सिंगल नेट। तो बहुत सारे लोग अपने आप को झूठ बोल के अपना बिजनेस चला रहे हैं, क्योंकि वही है, चाहे फ्रॉड आप वैसे करो चाहे वैसे करो, तो मेरे हिसाब से आप जितना क्वालिफाइड हो उतना अच्छा है। ठीक है, ऐसा कोई क्राइटेरिया नहीं है कि बीएड होना जरूरी है, लेकिन अगर आप बीएड के लिए चला रहे हो तो आपको बीएड होना चाहिए। अगर आप बीएड एंट्रेंस पढ़ाते हो तो आपका बीएड एंट्रेंस, क्योंकि यू नो आपका नॉलेज है, आपका एक्सपीरियंस है। यू नो, अब बैटिंग कोच जिसने खुद कभी बैट नहीं पकड़ा, अब बैटिंग कोच जिसने 4 मैच में बैटिंग की, उसे छक्का मारना नहीं आता और वो आपको सेंचुरी मारना सिखा रहा है। आपने देखा आपके बहुत सारे यूट्यूब टीचर्स करते हैं 100 में से 90 कैसे लाएं, फर्स्ट टाइम जेआरएफ कैसे करें, हाउ टू गेट फर्स्ट टाइम जेआरएफ। हैव यू एवर वंडर्ड दे देमसेल्व्स हैव नो जेआरएफ? उनके खुद नहीं आए आज तक 98। सो यू नो, दिस इज एक्चुअली befuling people. Now if you befool, you will not be in the long run. तो आप लंबा नहीं चलोगे। हाँ, अगर आपके पास क्वालिटी है तो आप लंबा चलोगे, तो क्वालिटी है तो लंबा चलो। रिमी कह रही है कि यूट्यूब पे कोई बता रहा था गेट से जॉब नहीं मिलेगा। Rimi Banerjee, you are from West Bengal, and according to me, all the students coming from West Bengal are intellectually very high. Think about this: the YouTuber who's telling you it has no job, and the IIT professors who have prepared a roadmap for the exam, conducting it for the second time and will conduct it for multiple times. वो कौन है? बताइए, बताइए वो कौन है? If I have a problem, I will go to the doctor, I'll go to a YouTuber. I'm also a YouTuber, but I'm the same person who was taught in University of Delhi. इसलिए मैं फालतू की हरकतें नहीं करता YouTube पे. But imagine, even I will not say this. IITians, IIT professors, they must have taken permission. There would have been studies, committees बनी होंगी, उस पर बाकायदा सर्वे हुआ होगा, तब जाके होगा। किसी और के चक्कर में मत पड़ो। There are people, उसका खुद नहीं निकल रहा होगा गेट। ऐसे बहुत सारे हैं जिनका खुद नहीं गेट निकल रहा होगा। देयर वाज अ यूट्यूबर, उसने मेरे पे एक वीडियो बनाया था ओवररेटेड बोल के, वो खुद मेरा स्टूडेंट है। वो खुद मेरी क्लास का स्टूडेंट, तो यहाँ से पास होके मेरे को भी बोल रहा था, बोलने दो ना उसको। बहुत सारे लोग बोलते हैं मुझे पढ़ाना नहीं आता, कोई बात नहीं, ले आओ मेरे तो डबल JRF ले आओ, मुझसे अच्छा पढ़ाओ। तो उनके चक्कर में मत पढ़ो, यूज योर ब्रेन, यूज योर ब्रेन। ओके, इफ एवरीथिंग इज डायमंड देन देयर विल बी नो कोल। हर कोई बंदा हीरा बनेगा तो कोयला कोई नहीं रहेगा। सो यू हैव टू चूज। ओके, एंड वन सजेशन टू ऑल द न्यू स्टूडेंट्स, चेक द JRF सर्टिफिकेट्स वेर एवर यू गो। किसी के पास भी पढ़ो, जाओ JRF का चेक करो, पूछो आपका क्यों नहीं हुआ JRF, जो आपको इतना आता है, यू आर एन एक्सपर्ट। JRF के लिए 90% तो लाना नहीं होता है, नेट से 4-5% ऊपर होता है। तो अगर इतना नहीं आता तो फिर क्या फायदा, तो बेवकूफ़ नहीं बनना है। बिकॉज यू नो कोविड हैज़ created issues, people have lost their jobs, so there are a lot of people who are not honest, not hardworking, so they are coming to this business। और टारगेट कौन बनेगा, आपकी तरह इनोसेंट स्टूडेंट्स जिनके सपने बड़े बड़े हैं। तो इन चक्करों में मत पड़ना। अच्छा लिसन, व्हाट आई हैव फोकस, व्हाट आई हैव सजेस्टेड, ये रीड कर लो। एंड आई ऑल्सो सजेस्ट यू, 99% चांस है, दे स्टिल दे कैन पोस्टपोन द गेट एग्जाम। अभी भी चांस है, कर सकते हैं। दे सिंपली हैव टू ड्रॉप वन नोटिफिकेशन। अतुल डिप्रेशन किस बात का भाई, डिप्रेशन यार क्यों डिप्रेशन, मेरे को 3 बार कोरोना है, मुझे डिप्रेशन नहीं है। आई लिव अलोन, नोबडी इज हियर टू सपोर्ट मी। तो कार्तिकेय आपका सेंटर मुरादाबाद आ गया है। NTA ने मजाक किया था, मेरी स्टूडेंट है अरुणाचल में, यू वोंट बिलीव, द स्टूडेंट फ्रॉम अरुणाचल गॉट द सेंटर इन केरला NTA एग्जाम। उसने मेरे को बोला सर मैं अरुणाचल से हूँ, मेरा सेंटर अरुणाचल में लिया एंड माई सेंटर हैज बीन गिवन इन केरला। आई थिंक, देखो आई डोंट थिंक नाउ दिस कोरोना इज नॉट दैट मच डेडली, सो यू कैन गो ट्रेवल। ओके अतुल, आई अग्री दैट आपकी और मेरी कंडीशन में फ़र्क है। मैं सेटल्ड हूँ, मेरी फैमिली सेटल्ड है, मुझे करियर का डर नहीं है। बट क्या मैं बचपन से ऐसा था? आई एम द सेम पर्सन जो चाय अफोर्ड नहीं कर पाता था। और ये जो आज ब्रांडेड कपड़े हैं ना, महंगे महंगे, ये जो हज़ारों की घड़ियाँ पहनी हुई हैं, आई एम द सेम पर्सन जो 130 रुपये की घड़ी कैल्विन क्लीन की चोर मार्केट से खरीद के लाया था। एंड आई वॉज रियली हैप्पी कि मैंने कैल्विन क्लीन खरीदा। I was very happy. I told my friends, पता है बहुत सही मार्केट है, इट्स अ गुड मार्केट। एंड यू नो कैल्विन क्लीन यू फाइंड इन 130, 130 रुपये की घड़ी थी। 130 रुपये की घड़ी एंड बोथ नीडल्स गॉट फिक्स लाइक दिस। 2-3 दिन के बाद वो दोनों नीडल ऐसी हो गई। सो फाइट इज ऑलवेज देयर। इफ यू आर डिप्रेस्ड, लुक एट मी, आई डोंट कम फ्रॉम अ रिच बैकग्राउंड, बट आई वोंट डाई एटलीस्ट पुअर। मैं गरीब नहीं मरूंगा। तो ये करा है अपने दम पे। हाँ, आई विल बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट, मैंने नहीं सोचा था मुझे इतना सफलता मिलेगा। आई सिंपली वॉन्टेड टू क्वालिफाई नेट टू गेट 15,000 रुपी मंथली जॉब। मुझे ये था कि नेट होगा तो somebody told me that if you are net qualified in Rajasthan private college, you get 15,000. So my aim was to get 15,000 by qualifying net. I didn't know they get 40, 50, 70 और आज तो लाखों में आता है मेरे पास। तो obviously I'll be very honest, मुझे इतना नहीं पता था। इनफैक्ट इतना पता होता ना कि ये चीज़ है तो मैं और बहुत ज़्यादा पढ़ता। बट आई सजेस्ट यू पढ़ो, बिकॉज मेहनत, सी वी आर नॉट द पीपल विद लैंड्स, वी आर नॉट द पीपल विद पुश्तैनी मकान, ज्वेलरीज एंड ऑल। वी आर द पीपल हु स्टडी, हु वर्क हार्ड एंड हु स्नैच समथिंग दैट दे डिजर्व। So if you know, right now I'm living in South Delhi, and even in South Delhi, it's the most one of the areas which is actually a lavish area. And once I just thought, who are the people who live in this particular area? And I didn't know that God is listening. I was here 5 to 6 years back, and I was thinking, who are the people who live here? This is called class. This is called place to live. And you know, maybe God has heard. I came here. So it's all a dream. But one thing was always there: hard work. Today I am lazy. Today I'm lavish. I'm lazy. Sometimes I go show off. I do it sometimes, but I never forget those days. And do you know the office boys in my office who are just working for 9,000, 10,000? I always meet them, say that you are my brothers, friends. They take my bike, they go away, they sit next to me, we watch movies. I never feel that, okay, they are the office boys and I'm different. No, I've come from those backgrounds. So it's your hard work. Instead of taking depression, just think that if this guy can do with government school, government college, no English, even after qualifying net, I was not able to speak in English. After qualifying net, मुझे अंग्रेजी बोलना नहीं आता था. So if I can achieve these heights, you can do the same. So that's my suggestion. And ultimately, it's your spirit, it's your attitude. So I live alone, 3 times corona. I can cry. I'm not crying. I know it's okay. I have a sore throat. I will take medicine. I have a running nose. I will take medicine. Because you have to live the life. Life is in front of you. Now there are two ways. Either you cry or you enjoy. You are in worst situation, you cry or you enjoy. जीना तो है ना, जीना तो पड़ेगा ना. So you have to enjoy, even if it's the worst situation. And only a few dare to smile in worst situations. क्या होगा यार? God has sent us here. God has a plan for us. कुछ तो अच्छा होगा हमारे लिए. So remove all the negativity away. Think positive. And remember, it's a bad day. It can be a bad week, a bad month, but it's not a bad life at all. Okay? तो चीज़ें ठीक हो जाएंगी. चलो गाइज, मैं भी थोड़ा टाइम ले लूँ क्योंकि ना ब्रीदिंग इश्यूज हैं. तो यू कैन सी माई टायर्ड फेस. ज़्यादा बोल रहा हूँ ना तो ब्रीदिंग कर रहा है. सो व्हाट्सएप मी ऑन 8810289637. All the new students who want to join GATE batch, we have given toppers. इस बार भी दे देंगे toppers. अभी बोल रहा हूँ, चेक कर लेना. पहले भी 15वीं रैंक 22वीं रैंक दी ऑल इंडिया. So those who want to contact for admission purpose, call 8587035827. Those who want to have literary queries, literature के सवाल पूछने हैं, 8810289637. I will respond you directly. Okay, thank you.